Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today we are going to be doing our first impressions, like overall thoughts on MEW. Now, I've played a handful of hours. I've gotten MEW almost every single game that I've gone for it, and I really love the character. I'm going to talk a little bit about the update in this, kind of just like a patch day one kind of review as well, and talk about the map, my thoughts on how just basically everything is playing out, and what some of the changes are that they've made, and the way that the tempo of the game is playing, at least on day one, right? Because all of this is subject to change. We don't know the full meta, especially for solo queue. Don't know how 5 stacks are playing such, but let's dive into it. So if you wouldn't mind, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and let's talk about MEW. So MEW is awesome. MEW is so cool, but it does kind of give me that feeling of like the SP attacker that it's a little hard to carry with, right? Like you're essentially like a high mobility Venusaur, a high mobility Pikachu. You have like kind of like some supporty defensive utility in your kit, and it feels really fun to play. It feels engaging. The kit design is super fun. Move reset, the way that it works is super fun, but overall the Pokemon doesn't feel like a super hard carry. I am wondering if it's going to be a little overpowered for 5 stacks though. For solo queue it feels pretty fine to me. I don't think it's doing such crazy damage or anything like that. I think it's an incredibly strong pick for going into laning phase, and it can do center area, jungle position just fine, and that's totally cool if you want to do that to rush to level 8 so you can have your Unite move. But the Unite move is not really that impactful in my opinion. I think it's more of just like a defensive cooldown for MEW that you happen to be able to pop on yourself whenever you're getting engaged on in a fight, and so that's cool. So I definitely see this as like a maybe A or S tier laner. I think that it's a really strong Pokemon to be able to start the laning phase with a Solar Beam. Like, that's crazy, right? You literally start the game with a Solar Beam, which is like what, level 7 Venusaur, and you can just steal farm and poke and be really obnoxious and be a really strong force in the game. Now, as far as Theia Sky Runes goes, I've been really enjoying going for Regieleki, and I enjoy invading a lot because there's just so much experience in the map, and like making big plays and putting people behind feels really important. But I think when my fear might be true, what I was worried about is that I think that this map is actually a skill-based map without having any kind of a rank system or matchmaking that feels skill-based. So we have a game that requires more macro play, more game sense, more understanding, more ability to make strong decisions, all of these things without any fundamental changes to support that. So it's rough. It feels really rough. And now I'm talking a little bit about the game more so, but I really like Theia Sky Runes. First of all, I think it's much more visually pleasing than Remote Stadium. I think Remote Stadium was just had that generic kind of like, purple and orange, like kind of, Unite Arena looking style. And it was cool, but I definitely think that this map is much more aesthetically pleasing. The detail on it is beautiful, and it's great. Rayquaza, the irony is that it's basically Zapdos like 1.5. Like, it's not really that much different. Not really. It just is better, right? Like it's probably the Zapdos nerf that we needed. So I guess it feels fine to me. I like the unique little mechanics with the like little speed flux zones in the jungle and on the ground. That stuff feels kind of cool. And overall, I don't really have a ton to say about the map. I like it. It just is going to be really hard to play and perform well in solo queue. But let's jump back to MEW. MEW is so cool. I think the resetting abilities is the thing, right? Like, that's the thing. You pop your abilities, you make these combinations, you can set up big damage or go for executes if you want, last hit potential. You can use both either Electro Ball, or you could use the Solar Beam, which I've been using Solar Beam a lot. And I'll be honest, I've been basically just slotting Agility and Solar Beam most of the time. Like, coaching feels really good, but probably 4 or 5 stack scenario. Light screen, or like the wall, is it barrier or light screen? I don't remember. Light screen, it's solid. I mean, you're gonna get some extra damage. You have a little bit of like peel and shielding for yourself, like a little bit of ability to like CC because you can kind of shove people with it. But again, solo queue agility is just mobility, right? It's a blaze kick, you know what I mean, or a flame charge. It's the ability to reposition yourself and make a big play. And you can also reposition a lot like Delphox with flame charge and mystical fire. You can reposition your Solar Beam, which I think is really impactful as well. So overall, the MEW kit that I've been basically running is like Double Glass's Muscle Band. I just want to do as much damage as possible. I'm using a Solar Beam, right? So I just want to do as much damage as possible. I think it'd be really fun to do double Solar Beam and like create like a really unique, interesting poke comp with this character, with Venusaur. But the third item, sorry, I got sidetracked. The third item has been Muscle Band, and it's just to keep myself moving, you know, attacking, moving, attacking, Solar Beam, boom, damage, move, attack. So I think you could do something. There's all kinds of items you could run in third slot. I think you could, and second slot for that matter. Choice Spec seems like the only item that feels like a 100% must on Mew, but you could run Shell Bell, Focus Band, Muscle Band, Double Glasses. You could go SP attack specs if you really want to try stacking. We don't know the scaling, I don't think, yet, and if we do, I haven't seen it. But so much potential for this character, and so many builds and so many different potential playstyles with the way that you want to run it. I haven't really messed around with Surf almost at all, and so maybe I need to mess around with just doing like a, I don't know, a Focus Buddy version of Mew, where I'm kind of like more in the fight and I'm surfing in and doing, you know, more damage that way. That could be really, really interesting. More of like, I don't want to call it melee Mew, but you get the point. Something like that. And I even really want to try doing some version of a crit build, because the boosted auto is nasty. It hits so incredibly hard. So that's where a big source of the damage from you comes from. So I'm really, really loving the character. I definitely think that if you wanted to expedite the pickup of it, like most of us content creators have, it's definitely worth it if you're someone that likes to play the game quite a bit. And if not, then you're going to be having a good time whenever you do, you know, get through the little event thing for it. You know, me, Spraggles, and others, obviously, we just kind of like purchased it and used gems to get it, to be able to make content for it. And so hopefully y'all are enjoying all of that from us. But overall, I think that this update brought a really, really fun character. Probably one of my favorite attackers in the game, because it just feels so unique and engaging to play. And I love the map. I really, really love it. I think I'm going to love it a lot more than Remote Stadium in the long run, but I'm deathly afraid of solo queue and the fact that this is a high skill game. This game is a high skill game and requires you to know what you're doing, and we have no ranked mode and no matchmaking. So, or presumably, maybe it's just early season stuff. I don't know. I doubt it, but you know, it is what it is. So that's kind of my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. I think the thing with Mew for me is that it's great to see them stepping out of the comfort zone again. That's what we need every now and then. And you know, you need simple kits. Like look at Tyranitar's kit. It's super, super simple. You kind of just like turn yourself on and run in, or you dive in and you run in. You need the simple kits, so that way when you do have a character that comes out that's really crazy and unique and brings new mechanics, it changes the game and shifts things around and makes it super, super interesting. And I think that Mew has done that. It also is like another mythical Pokemon, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. So that's like leaning into the ideas that we're going to continue to get these really cool concepts, playing around with like the Hoopa Magician, the Mew move reset, that kind of mechanic where you can add additional buttons and things, and I just really, really love it. So Mew is pretty awesome. I'm really enjoying it. I definitely think it's worth playing. It's a lot of fun, super strong laner, and has a great presence around the map. And like I said, I would love to hear your thoughts. So drop a comment, drop a like on the video, subscribe for future Pokemon Unite content. As always, be sure to be kind to one another, tell someone you love them, and I'll see you on the next video.